Good morning, everyone. And as you can see, it's still quite morning-ish. This is, this is about 7:45 right now in January. Oh, my. That was a bit of a surprise. Do you guys get that a lot? When you're walking your dogs, do you get dogs that just lunge at the fence and scare the crap out of you and your dogs? Happens a lot in my neighborhood, unfortunately. But anyway. So, it's quite gray and cloudy out, which has kind of been the norm for this entire month of January. It doesn't even feel like winter. It's been mostly raining. It's been miserable weather, that's for sure, but not wintry weather. Oh man, what I wanted to chat with you about today is management versus training. And these are two different things, and I wanted to sort of define them and just give you an idea of the difference between the two. And we need both when we're working with our dog. So let me give you an example. Let's say you have guests come over to your house and your dog jumps all over your guests. Now, if you have a crate and your dog is crate trained and you put them in the crate when your guests arrive, pretty much impossible for your dog to jump on your guest. But is being in the crate, is the crate training your dog what the appropriate behavior is? Is the crate training your dog not to jump on your guests? No, but it's doing a heck of a good job of preventing it, that's for sure. But that's management, right? Management is something like a crate where it's preventing a behavior from happening, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's training the behavior out, right? Because if you kept your dog in the crate for 3 weeks while guests come over, and then you let your dog out to meet the guests when they come over, my assumption, and I'm probably right on this, is the dog will just start to jump all over the guests because being in the crate doesn't give them the information that they shouldn't be jumping on the guests. It's just preventing it. Now, if you have a technique like the dog jumps on you and you blow off a little air can and you startle the dog, or you take a leash and you give a little pop down on the leash or something, you do something where you're adding some sort of mild consequence to the behavior, now we're starting to train the behavior out of our dog. We're starting to show our dog what to do. Or for those of you out there that want to try the redirection methodology, maybe your guest comes in and you try and lure your dog away with a treat, or you put the leash on and you have your dog sit when your guests come over. Now we're talking about training techniques to solve a problem, not management techniques, right? So management is great, and I use management. When we leave the house, we crate the dogs. We go out for 2 hours, we crate the dogs. Is that teaching them not to get into the cupboard in the kitchen with all the chemicals and things like that? No, it's not doing anything to teach them anything, but it's a safe place for them. It's management. It's management. And there's nothing wrong with that. We all use a little bit of management. And my goal for some, I guess most issues, is training. But I like crating the dogs when Chris and I leave the house because I know they're safe. Chris and I have never looked at each other while we're out and thought, what are the dogs doing? I hope they're not getting into anything. I know they're not getting into anything. They're safe. They're in their little homes, and they're safe until we can get back. All right. Hopefully that helps to bring a little bit of clarity to what I mean in future videos or in past videos when I've talked about management versus training, right? Two different things, both acceptable, right? Some people will use certain management techniques like I just addressed with my crates. I will use crates with our dogs throughout their life. We don't, dog-proof our house. Our house is just our house. When we're home, we can keep an eye on the dogs and know that they're safe. And when we're not home, we have our dog sitters, aka the crates, that watch our dogs for us. I would say the goal probably for most behavioral issues is to train that issue and move on so that you don't need the management technique, right? But you also can't work on everything all at once. So a crate can be a great management tool that helps you out until you can get to certain behaviors or as you're working through your training, right? So that gives you an idea anyway. Management essentially helping you in the moment, but not really moving the needle forward on working with the behavior, whereas training, you're directly working on the response of the dog in certain situations. Okay, so that's my video on management versus training. And we're coming into the end of January right now, and every February I take some time off, do some personal stuff, take care of things that have sort of fallen to the wayside throughout the year. Also, typically February is the worst month of the year to be outside training. It's not just miserable for the client and myself, you know, could be very miserable for the dogs. And I just have decided to take some time off in February to recharge my batteries and to just take a break from being out in the miserable weather, although it hasn't been too bad lately. So I won't have a video posted for February. I've got a lot going on, but I will be back in the spring, in March, with more videos, doing my monthly videos for you guys. And if you have any questions, you can always reach out to me. I'm here to offer advice to a certain extent, right? I got to run a business, so I can't just give you all the advice for free. I've got to run my business and, you know, charge people. That's really what I do, right? I charge people for advice and techniques. That's what a trainer does. But you can always reach out to me, and if it's bigger than the scope of what I can offer as free advice, then we can always talk about how we can train together. All right, guys, hopefully you get through February. Who knows what Mother Nature has in store for us, but let's hope it's not too wintry, unless, you know, maybe you're into skiing or snowboarding. Then let's hope it's wintry for you. Other than that, I will see you in March with more videos, back in the springtime and back to training. We'll see you later.